Good morning and welcome. My name is Wayne, and boy, have I got a lot to share with you today. I'm just going to grab a coffee and go sit down because I think you're going to want to too, because we've got a lot to talk about. Because you have been robbed, and I'll explain what you've been robbed of here in a minute. Let's just get set up. You can get set up also, and let's go. So, I said you've been robbed, and that's quite an actual understatement to what really has happened to you and to all of us. Since the moment that we were thrusted into this world and out of our mother's womb, we were captured and taken captive, taken hostage even, and robbed of a gift that we were all naturally born with, a gift that is extremely powerful and allows you to live an extraordinary life. And so my question is, have you ever looked around and seen people that have more than you do, a better life, nicer cars, bigger homes, more money, and you just wish, boy, are they ever lucky? And if only my ship would come in, and you just wish that you could, have a piece of that life. Even probably tried. Maybe you've gone out and tried to create a better life for yourself and failed. And it's not your fault. And the reason why it's not your fault is because you were never shown the true gift that you have to create the life you want. And those people that you say are lucky, they got it made and what have you, they discovered their gift. They may not know the details about it like I'm about to show you, but they at least discovered it and were able to create an extraordinary life for themselves. Now I'm going to have to ask you, because right now your mind, your belief systems, your position in life is cast in concrete, and so you believe. You're doing the best you can to get ahead with what you got, and there seems to be some invisible barrier that just allows you to go so far, and then you can't go any further. It's almost like being a fish in a fishbowl, floating in an ocean. You can see all the abundance and beauty and wonderful things around you, but you can't seem to access it. Let me put this down. Well, I'm going to show you how that happened and why it continues to happen to most people. And it all comes back to how we have been robbed of this gift I'm about to show you. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to a concept or a technique called lateral thinking. And lateral thinking is a technique that was coined by one of my mentors, Dr. Edward de Bono, God bless his soul, who identified lateral thinking as a way of problem solving, as a way of being creative to come up with better solutions to the problems we face or situations that we're in. Lateral thinking gives you a better perspective on any situation or problem you're faced with. It gives you a bigger view of what's going on, because right now your life is lived through your perception of it, and someone else's life is different because they have a different perspective. In fact, I've always been fascinated by the fact that we all live on the same planet, but we each live in different worlds, and that's because we each have a little bit of a difference in our perspective on what this world is. And so I got so good at lateral thinking that I wrote this book, Lateral Thinking: A Definitive Guide to Solving the Impossible. And you can buy a copy of it on Amazon if you wish. Okay, I know that was a shameless plug, but I just wanted to impress upon you that lateral thinking is a genuine technique, and that's what we're going to apply here to the situation that robbed you of your gift. All right? Now, I'm going to start off by saying there are really two realities that we're living in, that you're living in, and they're both right in front of you in plain sight. But it's only been one reality that has been taught to us, programmed to us, embedded in our subconscious mind that we believe in, and the other reality goes without any notice whatsoever. And so this is quite a deep subject, and we're going to spend our time. There's the official reality that we believe in and live in and accept, And then there's the true reality of what's going on. And we're going to spend all our time on the true reality, but I have to help you transition over to that point. And you could almost say it's like a whole new education again, because everything you've been taught is wrong. And so because it's a whole new education again, we got to start at the basics and we got to work our way up through the different levels so that you can become aware of the truth and discover your gift and be able to use that gift to create an extraordinary life for yourself. So if you're ready for this journey, then carry on. And there may be a lot of people already rolling their eyes and have scrolled on to the next video, and it's too bad for them because they're going to miss out on their lives. That's what they're doing. We're all missing out on our lives until we discover this gift. So let's just look at some basic facts, but we're going to look at them with a little bit of lateral thinking. So you have to have an open mind for this. We're going to look at them from a different perspective so that you can have a better view of what reality is. So let's look at this official reality first. And we're going to start with some very basic facts that you already know and accept. And if you don't know and accept, you can certainly look at it and verify that these are facts, science-backed facts that cannot be denied. And let's look at the first one. The first one is look around at your surroundings, right? I look around my room here and I've got lamps and tables and furniture and walls. I got a camera I'm looking into and talking to. And so all of this stuff that's around me is reflecting light. That's how I see it, right? The light comes from the sun into this room, or if I turn on one of these lights, artificially man-made light. Although let's talk about sunlight because that's the source, that's the real intense light. We can't look directly at the sun without burning our eyes out, so that's how intense that is compared to all this man-made stuff that we create with artificial technology. But let's just look at this walls around you, for instance, all right? The light comes in, bounces off the wall and into your eyes. And then from your eyes, it travels a couple of inches into your brain where it gets put into an image again, and that's how we see, all right? But what we're seeing is reflected light. We're not actually seeing what it is that's reflecting the light. We're just seeing the reflected light. That's what we come in. That's what comes into our eyes, and then that's what our brain interprets. Our mind interprets as the wall, as the camera, as these chairs, furniture, and all of our surroundings. Now, I'm not saying that the wall and the chair and camera, all that is not real. Yeah, it is real, but the way we work is that we recreate the image of our surroundings in our head. And I'll prove that to you here in a second. It's a difficult concept to accept, but it is true and science will verify it. So here's the thing, all right? Even though we only see the light reflecting off the walls, this entire room is saturated in light. It fills every nook and cranny. Light is everywhere. And let's just not confine this to the room. Let's look at the entire planet, Earth, and the atmosphere. Let's even go all the way out to the distant galaxies and stars. We can see those stars from, even though they're astronomically far distances away, so far that we have to measure it in light years, but yet we can still see the light of those stars. So that means all the space between those stars and Earth is filled with that star's light. And then you go and multiply that by quadrillions of stars and galaxies, and it's pretty easy to accept that the entire universe is one massive infinite field of light. Now, light that we see is just a small spectrum of the entire spectrum of light. We got gamma rays and X-rays and ultraviolet rays and infrared rays. So there's a lot, and radio waves. Like there's all kinds of a wide spectrum of light. And actually, light's called energy. We know it's energy. It's called electromagnetic energy. And so we got a wide spectrum of electromagnetic energy that fills the entire universe. But we only get to see a small sliver of it, and we only get to see that small sliver when it reflects off something. We don't see it occupying the entire space around us. So that's the first realization. We live in a reality. The official reality is what we see and think we have, but the true reality is we live in a reality of reflected light. So now let's have a look at what's reflecting the light. Well, atoms, right? Atoms make up everything. Science tells us that. There's 117 atoms on a periodic table. I mean, that changes a little bit because science creates new elements and they only last for microseconds, and it doesn't matter. There's 117 elements on the periodic table that make up everything. And hydrogen and helium are the two most abundant elements or atoms in the universe. Together, they represent almost like 98% or something. And then all the other elements, oxygen, nitrogen, and gold, and silver, and all those different atoms represent or occupy the other 2%. But that's not really what I want to make a point of. All I want to make a point of is that atoms make up everything. They make up you, they make up me, they make up everything around us, they make up the air we breathe, they make up everything. So what's an atom? Well, let's just grab my phone here and we'll switch over to it. And let's Google and I've already done it, so you see here, what is the percentage of empty space of an atom, the very first line. And you can do this yourself. And here's what Google will tell you. So let's just turn this so it makes it bigger. An atom is considered to be approximately 99.99999999996% empty space. That's 12 nines. Can I just call it 100%? All right? Let's just call it 100% for our purposes. So there's the second reality. And I know that your mind's saying, that's impossible. There's no way atoms are not empty space. And I will explain what they are filled with here shortly, if it's not already obvious to you. But for now, this physical reality is not physical at all. It's empty space. So here we are now. We live in a reality of reflected light, and what's reflected in the light is empty space. Like, that's mind-boggling. Totally never have been taught this at all. And I am an electronics engineer. And even through my whole education as an electronics engineer was this taught to me. But it was so obvious. It took me a lifetime to actually, boom, wake up to this. But it's important to understand this, because once you understand what the true nature of this reality is, you'll understand what your gift is and how you can use it, all right? So we live in a reality of refracted light. We are surrounded in one infinite field of electromagnetic energy, and atoms are almost 100% empty space, and so this, what's reflected in the light is empty space. And thirdly, the third epiphany, and there's going to be a few more after this, but these are the three most important epiphanies that you need to come to understand and accept as fact and really start living through these new facts that you're learning. Let's just do a little experiment. Look at your surroundings. I'm looking at mine. Close your eyes and imagine your surroundings. And you can paint a picture in your mind with your imagination of what your surroundings look like. You can see it. It's not crystal clear, but it's vivid enough that you could certainly describe them to anybody that wants to listen. Now open your eyes, and instantly that image becomes crystal clear and becomes very vivid and high resolution. What happened there? Did all of a sudden your imagination turn off and some other visualization characteristic of the mind turn on? No. All that happened there is your imagination with your eyes closed was creating the image from memory. And the moment you opened your eyes, it started live streaming data in real time, and your imagination switched over to live streaming. That's what happened. So here it is. We live in a reality of reflected light. What's reflected in the light is mostly empty space, and we perceive it all through our imagination. Wow. To what purpose? Well, that's going to be the nature of this channel.